are back today and I have Peter with me, and we are going to be answering some of your questions that you have sent our way a while ago. And we will also be doing other videos regarding adoption. And it'll be coming from not necessarily my perspective, but Peter's perspective as an adoptee.
I'm an adoptee.
We hope that you guys look forward to those videos. Let's just go ahead and jump right into these questions. I feel like some of these questions you guys have already asked before. Just go ahead and answer it again. Okay.
Review.
First question, how old are you and where are you from?
Ladies first.
Me first? Okay, so I am now 32 and my ethnicity is Hmong, H-M-O-N-G, and yeah, my parents came from Laos as refugees after the Vietnam War, and so we have been in the US. I was born in the US and my parents got married in the US, so yes, Hmong, look it up.
And I am 25. Yeah, I'm 35. But thumbs up if you think I'm 25. Where am I from? So I was born in South Korea, came to Texas when I was 6 months old.
Next question, do adoptees in Korea face discrimination? Expats in Korea, the stigma is strong. Let's Google that. We're gonna Google it. Somebody who leaves their country of origin and settles abroad for an extended period of time, often permanently.
I think there can be some negative feelings around that, depending on culture and expectations and things like that. When we were there for 4-ish weeks, maybe a little longer, I mean, we went around and interacted with people, the culture. Didn't have any issues. It didn't seem like there was much discrimination, and if there was, you know, we were oblivious to it.
But specifically for adoptees, I mean, only you can speak.
It's hard for us to say. It's hard for me to say. I haven't been to South Korea for more than a month, and maybe at some point in time, if we spend some length there, then sure, we might be able to experience something like that, but it's definitely not something that I'm looking for. Not something high on my radar, because really no matter where you go, people will treat you however they want to treat you. But yeah, maybe I can answer that question a few years from now. We'll see.
Next question, will you guys put Ezra in Korean class?
I think that if he expresses an interest, absolutely. If he wants to, we'll go for it. When I was growing up with my brother, if my parents, or if we wanted to do something, participate in something, or, you know, anything relating to our heritage, yeah, they'd be open to it, and we'd do the same. We have Korean language books and Korean videos and things of Korean culture in our home right now, which has been great. But even then, Ezra doesn't gravitate that way right now. He definitely gravitates to what his brother and sister want to do and what they call us and things like that. So it's up to him. Absolutely, if he wants to, if he expresses interest, for sure. And maybe if he doesn't, maybe we'll nudge him in some ways here or there, but you know, we'll take it day by day. Right.
And in a way, I feel like our family, because we have like 2 different cultures already going on in the household. So I'm Hmong.
Maybe even like
Hmong
4.
American, yes. And then Peter is Korean American, but
my dad's Swedish and my mom's Irish.
Yes. So we have already,
and we're in America,
a very different dynamic, and our main language is English in the home because of that. And so I don't know, I think we're just a very interesting blend of people, and so I think we may have a very different perspective than a lot of people who they just identify with one particular culture. As for us, we identify with more than one already. So what will you guys do if your children won't come to love God?
Well, that's something we're praying about right now, literally every day, multiple times a day. And that will continue. I know that my parents absolutely still pray for both my brother and I, and that's what we'll continue to do for our kiddos. So it goes without saying that it would be tough and hard to stomach and see every day, depending on what's going on, but at the same time, we know that the Lord's in charge and sovereign over all, and it, like, doesn't surprise him one bit. And we'll just continue to be obedient in prayer and what we can do.
We are not going to love them any more or any less because of what, you know, if they love God or not love God. I don't think it's a conditional thing. It's obviously unconditional love that we have for our children, regardless of, you know, what may happen in the future. But we are fervently praying because we truly believe in Jesus, and we believe in the gospel, and we believe in salvation. And so our heartbeat, everything that we choose to do, revolves around Jesus. And so that is our prayer for our children, that they would grow up to love the Lord and to seek him and live a life loving Jesus. So that's our prayer. How did you meet your husband? How long did you date before getting married?
We met at a park. Kang was at a church event. We had a mutual friend who invited me to go. So both he and I went, and that's when I say we met the first time, but Kang doesn't remember me really at all that first time. So she would say it was a different time.
No, I remember you that first time, but we just never personally interacted to where I would say that we even had any conversations. You know, I just kind of waved hi, and that was the end of it.
So then we dated about a year before we got married.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which is pretty quick for
quick.
a lot of,
For
the majority of
fast.
people. Yes.
Yeah. And that was almost 14 years ago. Over 14 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll
Almost
be
15
years
ago.
this year.
It's
in May.
insane.
Wow, I can't believe we've known each other for that long.
We old.
What made you want to get married at a young age? I actually never had the desire to get married at a young age.
Yeah, I would say that growing up, I didn't have a plan to get married young. But it did just kind of happen that way. Yeah, so, I mean, when it's kind of cliche, when you know, you know.
I think it's just that we knew that we loved each other and we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. So
Here we are.
Here we are.
Almost 15 years later.
That's crazy.
Still loving one another.
Yes. Behavior effects from adoption.
Behavior effects from adoption. For Ezra, does that mean for me? Does that mean for
I don't know.
us
That's
adopting?
all it says.
Well, every child is different. So every child will behave differently. There'll be challenges with one child that you don't have with another.
I know it's kind of vague, but it truly is that every child is different, and we can only speak from our own experience. Adoption did affect us differently through the different stages, especially when we first got Ezra to now, even as parents, and even with Ezra and then with Edith and Eli adjusting as well, because we had a lot of different dynamics in the adjustment. So
yeah, but you would adjust. You have another child biologically or otherwise. I mean, you always adjust.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think the challenge is that having Ezra, or I guess bringing him home when he's older as opposed to a baby, because he was almost 2 whenever we first brought him home, and he was already very curious, already walking, already kind of talking. He already had a personality, and so I think trying to adjust to that and engage where he is, and then also having to try to bond and all of the other different things that come with cocooning and spending time with each other, things like that. I don't know, there's a lot of different layers to
Yeah,
it.
and it's just different, but not in a good or bad way. It's just different. You just you adjust differently, you respond differently. everything changes from that point moving forward, no matter what. I mean, if there's any change in your family dynamic, you know, there'll be adjustments and things.
And I know like we've stressed this before and we cannot like stress it enough. I think at the end of the day, you just cannot have any expectations. Like we really hoped for the best, but like braced for the worst case scenario. And like we were prepared to the best of our ability at the time to handle whatever will come our way, because at the end of the day, Ezra is our child.
And you're never really prepared.
Yeah.
You think you're prepared. Like whenever you're having a baby or you're adopting or whatever it is, you think you're ready, and then it happens and it's like, oh my goodness, this is totally different than the book. So, and then yeah, what Kang said is also key. Just don't have any expectations, because anytime somebody has expectations and they're not met, or whatever the case is, in building a family or dating or a job or whatever, when those expectations are misaligned, it's never a good thing, and there's usually disappointment, things like that. So just by not having expectations, you're already off to a good start.
So next question is agency experience.
10 out of 10, 5-star review, Dylan International.
Yeah.
There's no better place. No, it was awesome. It was great. The support structure was great. Communication was amazing.
Right from the very, very beginning.
From the beginning all the way until, is there ever an end? I don't know if there is an end. Like it just keeps
even
going.
now, like I think like the aftercare of like post-adoption like is amazing as well. I mean, I think we really have like the gold standard of an adoption agency, and we've just been so blessed by the staff there. They're amazing, and I think I truly appreciate that they are a smaller agency, but also that the heartbeat behind what they're doing rings true to what we believe in as well. And
they love what they do, for sure, you can tell, and then they're plugged in so many other ways as well. It just doesn't end at when you get your kiddo. It continues past that point, and they're always there still, even though it's 3 years later. And they do support groups, camps, and they're a resource for churches, and yeah, it's just been awesome to see. And it's something that we've been learning little by little over time. But yeah, amazing.
what Christian songs that your kids listen and dance on? Can you share any links, please?
Oh, share a link. Can you share the link?
I could put it in the description box below us.
So there's a church near us. It's called the Village Church. You guys may not know the church, but they put out these short little Bible verse songs, and it's awesome because the kids love it. You learn a Bible verse super easy, and they have like dozens of them, which is great. And then Slugs and Bugs is another one. Slugs and Bugs is great. They have at least 2 CDs. Do you guys even know what CDs are?
2 albums.
Albums. We'll go albums.
How do you teach Ezra that he is adopted? Any books that you read to him on adoption?
So we don't really teach. There's definitely like an awareness, and I mean, we talk about it. We talk about foster family, we talk about birth family, we do talk about being born in South Korea, our, not Gotcha Day, it's our arrival day that we call it. Getting delivery of him was just a different medium, right? Adoption versus from a hospital. But so he knows, he absolutely knows. He has his blankets and toys from his foster family. And yeah, we have all of this stuff. We don't necessarily read him books necessarily on adoption, or like, hey, I'm adopted book, and you read it to him. We don't do any of those sorts of things, at least for the time being.
But we do, like, obviously you were saying Arrival Day, so we do every year go back and celebrate. It's like a second birthday. So we celebrate his Arrival Day, Family Day, whatever you want to call it. And we watch, you know, videos of that day with him, so he gets to see, you know, what happened. And then we also have like a photo album of pictures of whenever he was like a baby as well, that, you know, his foster family had, and they gave to us. And so I think some of those things already he is aware of, and I think it helps too that adoption is kind of like a norm in our family, because he knows that daddy is also adopted from South Korea,
His
and
uncle's
his
adopted.
uncle's adopted
Yeah.
from South Korea.
You can connect the dots. Like, we were both born in South Korea as well as his uncle, and we were both born in the same province, which is awesome. And
Both
we're both
adopted.
adopted, right? And his uncle's adopted as well, so he puts those things together, which is cool. So whenever he has like this arrival day celebration, he has some other people he can relate it to. But yeah, on a daily basis, day-to-day basis, it's not something that he brings up, nor are we gonna keep telling him. I mean, it is a part of who he is and a part of his history. Just like our other two kiddos, part of their history is being born in a hospital down the street from us. Ezra's history is slightly different. So, and then we're also doing things similar the way that my parents raised my brother and I, because we both love our parents to death and believe they did a phenomenal job. You know, they definitely let us know where we came from, not like they can hide it because they're white and we're not. So there's that. But, and I remember the notebook that I had with all these newspaper articles and my little bracelet, blah, 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 which is cool. And pictures of flight attendants and all that fun stuff. Like, that's great. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're still a kid, right? You're still a little boy. What do you want to do? Man, you want to talk about this? Or you want to go out and play with friends and your brothers and sisters and have fun and stuff? So it's definitely something that we will keep telling him about. Like, it is part of his story. But we're gonna, you know, let him be a kid. We're not gonna be hyper focused on, hey, you're adopted. Hey, Ezra, remember, you're adopted, right?
Right.
No, none of that. No, we're not.
Right. I think we can teach him to embrace his story, but also, like,
Not find your
let him
identity.
be a kid. Let him have a normal life. Like, he's our son, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
So these kinds of questions and suggestions do get me a little fired up. Not like angry, but maybe a little agitated. Like, there's some friction there.